Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about something that I have come to discover about some of the specifics with houses in astrology. And I think if you'll listen, you will be totally and completely amazed, because I'm going to talk about some of the meanings with the houses very simply, nothing complicated. So don't worry if you're just a novice, you will understand what I'm talking about. And this will pique your interest in astrology, and particularly, I believe, in Vedic astrology, because it's all here. It's all here. So I'm going to be talking about the 11th house and some of the unusual meanings towards the 11th house that nobody really thinks of. And actually it's because of how the houses are really relative to each other. And I go into great details in all of my books about this. So let's continue on. But before I do, I want to remind everyone to sign up for my free newsletter. You will get all of my predictions delivered absolutely free to your email address every week. Go to galacticcenter.org. And while you're there, don't forget to check out my magazine. I have an amazing magazine, Joni Patry's Astrology Insights, about 100 pages of important material all about astrology by some of the greatest authors. So check that out while you're at my website. And don't forget, I have my predictions coming up December 17th. This is going to be all of my predictions, 2-hour class, 3 hours. You will be able to ask me questions. So that's all available from my website, galacticcenter.org. And if this does pique your interest into seriously learning astrology, go to my university website, which is universityofvedicastrology.com. We have a brand new class beginning where we have the live webinars January 25th. So that's at universityofvedicastrology.com. Now let's get going and learn one of the specific meanings about the 11th house. You see, the 11th house is the 8th house from the 4th house. Now that may blow your mind, like, what in the world is she talking about? If you go to a chart, in anyone's chart, and you start at the 4th house, and always when you're dealing with the South Indian style chart, you're going to move clockwise. With the circular charts and the North Indian style chart, I know it's complicated, you will go counterclockwise. But with the South Indian style chart that I'm about to show you, remember, you're going to count clockwise. Okay, so let me scoot over here because I want to show you an example. It's the only way it's going to be visible that you're going to be able to see this. To look at the chart of Giulio Gallo. Now, that name may ring a bell because Giulio Gallo and his brother Ernest Gallo started Gallo Wines way back when. It's a dynasty of a business. Now, of course, both of them have passed on. But I love this chart because when I went over his biography, it is horrifying to understand what the two Gallo brothers went through. Now, their parents came from Italy, set up a winery in California, but they were losing everything, all their money. It was a nightmare, to the point where the brothers were in their, I think, early 20s or late teens, early 20s, when in a argument, the father shot and killed the mother and then killed himself. And I believe the boys were there. This was from the biography channel that I saw this biography on their lives. But I wanted to know what on earth was in their charts. And so, of course, I was looking at their charts, but Giulio Gallo's chart was the one I focused in on. And in his chart, I expected to find something horrendous going on in the 4th house, which is the mother, the 2nd house, which can be family. Nothing of the sort came up. And I thought, this happened. This has to be in the chart. So a voice said, look from house to house. And when I did, I realized the 4th house, meaning the mother, the one who was murdered, killed by the father, there had to be something about this. So I went to the 4th house, and counting from the 4th house, 8 placements, go to the 4th house and count moving forward, starting in the 4th house is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 11th house in everyone's chart represents the death of the mother. And remember, the 8th house is our deep core psychology. It's how our mind thinks from emotional values and issues from our past. This is the 8th house. So whenever someone has malefic planets, and what are the malefic planets? It's going to be Mars, it's going to be Rahu, it's going to be Ketu, it's going to be Saturn. Those are the malefics. And actually in Vedic astrology, the sun is malefic as well. So any of those planets in the 11th house will represent not only your mother's death, but her mental condition while she is alive. And this is the interesting part of all. I have done so many readings in my lifetime, and when I see malefics, a combination of malefics, or even malefics aspecting the 11th house, but just if you have malefics like Giulio Gallo has Mars and Rahu in the 11th house, there's going to be either a difficult death for the mother, or the mother has mental issues. And I have to say, with Mars Rahu in the 11th house, she had both. She was murdered, Mars Rahu. Mars is violence, Mars is weapons, Mars is danger and anger, and Rahu magnifies it all the more. Okay? Very, very intense anger issues. And it's in the 11th house of Giulio Gallo's chart, representing the violent death that they went through with their mother, and as well as the mental condition of the mother. So I want you, if you see difficult planets in the 11th house, you will know that the mother has mental, cognitive issues or problems within the lifetime, and the death will be difficult as well. This is such value to really understand charts and what they're all about, what your life's about, how you're here to deal with it, how you're here to heal it, because you know what the truth is. And that's the beauty of astrology. So I just wanted you to know that the 11th house not only deals with friends, groups, organizations, and also in Vedic astrology, it also deals with the eldest sibling. And looking at Ernest and Giulio Gallo, well, Giulio was the younger one because Ernest was born in 1909 and Giulio was born in 1910. So Mars Rahu also represents his brother, which is extremely powerful and strong. And they did fight a lot. As a matter of fact, they weren't speaking to each other at the ends of their lives. But they started the Gallo brothers, the wine company that still lives on. But from this example, I want you to understand what the 11th house is. Besides friends, groups, organizations, and the eldest sibling, it is the death of the mother, as well as the mother's psychology and mental health. So with that, I think this is going to give you a lot to work with. So with that, I'm going to close. Remember, if this has piqued your interest to learn Vedic astrology, go to my university website. Check it out. You won't regret it. It is University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.